Who are you for? Who are you for and who are you not for? Who is that version of you? And then I want you to now move to the part of the brand that encompasses both the external and the internal. And you can start whichever way, right? Some of you, it's easier for you to start with external in terms of the visual of what you'd wear, what's your song, what's your vibe, right? How do you sound? What do you how do you talk? What are the things you stand for? What are the things you don't stand for? Because if you don't put a stake in the ground of what you stand for and what you don't, guess what? You're wishy-washy. You stand for fucking nothing. There is a moment that happens right before your life actually changes, and it's not loud. It's very, very quiet. It is the instant you realize you are done living as a version of yourself that no longer fits who you're becoming, and you have zero tolerance for that old person anymore. In fact, it's like you putting on an outfit that maybe you've worn 200 times, but you go to put it on this one last time and something about it doesn't look right, doesn't feel right. And you're like, why did I used to wear this all the time? I don't even feel like this fits my personality or my vibe anymore. And then it's time to donate it. It's time to move on. Welcome to the 2026 Glow Up Protocol, a 6-part identity transformation playbook for high achievers who feel burnt out, disconnected, and ready to come back to who they really are. This series I created is about deliberately crafting your life, business, and income in a way that feels invigorating instead of draining, aligned instead of forced. It's an invitation to stop living on autopilot and start choosing the version of yourself you actually want to be known for. Today, we begin with the cornerstone of it all, your brand. And I don't mean your logo, your website, your identity brand. The story you tell about who you are, what you stand for, and what you're available for in this next chapter of your life. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Well, welcome to 2026. Thank the dear Lord, we have entered a new era, and I want to welcome all of the new listeners to the show. I went mega triple viral, technically quadruple viral over the holidays on repeat. And there are tens and tens of thousands more of you crazies that have found our special pocket of the internet. Welcome. And please make sure you DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. Even if you found me on TikTok, I'm not great about checking my TikTok private messages. They get insane. So come on over, follow me on Instagram. It's the same handle. I'm verified on Instagram, so you'll know it's me. On TikTok, for whatever reason, I'm not verified yet. And you just need to pay extra close attention that it's my account. It's not a spammer. You can usually tell by the number of followers. And I think I'm at like 406,000 over there. So that's a good way to be able to tell. And I also won't sell you Bitcoin in the DMs or try to get you onto some third-party app and talk to you. Sis doesn't have time for that. And if you listen to my podcast, you'll know that's the opposite of what I teach in terms of monetizing your gifts, skills, passions, talents, and experience online. Like, I don't teach you to cold DM people and do sleazy sales tactics. I teach the exact opposite. But something that I do, and I'll get into this on a different part of this special series, but while we're on this topic, I think it's important for you to note this because this does come back down to my personal brand. Whether I had an online brand, I had a personal brand business, so there's a speaker, a podcaster, even if I didn't, this still tracks that you can DM me. I spend about an hour to an hour and a half a day inside my Instagram DMs. It's really me responding to you. Now, when I have it on a post saying like comment wealthy in order to get my special offer for my Make More Work Less program, which by the way is on New Year's special right now. And this is my self-paced program that you get immediate and lifetime access to. that has you heal your relationship with money on a deeper level than you've ever gone before. And it is meant to be done in 7 days or less. It gets straight to the point in video modules. And then you have this really great adult activity workbook that goes with it because we make it fun. Because when it's fun, you'll actually do it and you'll complete it. And we want to use the energy of fun. Repairing and nurturing our relationship with money is just as important as you repair and nurture and check in with your relationships in real life. But we forget to do it. And you have to treat money like a living, breathing thing because it is energy and it's a transference of energy. And if you continue to ignore it and abandon it and just water it sometimes, well, that's part of why you don't see, a plethora of it coming in. And I'm really impressed. I just used the word plethora and asked me to spell it. This will not happen whatsoever. Did anyone do a spelling bee when they were in school? Also, this is my first official money matcha of the year. And I was away for New Year's in Palm Desert and I was not drinking matchas. So I'm jacked. Okay. I'm matchadized. So if you don't know what that means yet, because you're new to the show, well, buckle up because I'm so thrilled to do this new series for you. But on top of it, I'm matchadized. You'll see what it means. You'll see. So my point in saying all this is you can DM me on Instagram. It's really me. Yes, when I do posts and reels and videos and it says, comment wealthy below in order for me to send you the page for my special New Year's sale for my Make More Work Less program, which by the way, it's projectmewithtiffany.com/special offer. You can swipe up and access any of my links and resources that I've mentioned in the show inside the show notes. It's also in the description here on YouTube for you to easily click. Then you're going to get, it's called MiniChat as the platform, and you're going to get like a TIFF robot that gives you an automatic DM with whatever I'm saying. I'm delivering it to you. But if you are in there and you're asking me a question or which program I feel would be best for you or directing you to a certain resource, or you just want to tell me something you loved about the episode or introduce yourself to me and the crazies or something that came up for you when you were listening to my book. And if you've not listened to that, I think if you really want to know who is this Bish, like, and why should I listen to her? I might like her, but why should I listen to her? My book would be a great foundational starting point, but heavy on the trigger warning. I have a very fucked up story. My book is titled From Abuse to Abundance. So that says a lot right there. And you can access my first 5 chapters of my book at projectmewithtiffany.com/book. And they're all laid out there for you. So I would love for my new people to come and introduce themselves, share this episode, this first episode of this special playbook that I've created for you. And this is anything but basic, okay? And I want to just get that out of the way, is that I have broken this down into different areas of our life. And I do this with 6 different areas. This is something I do for myself that has been incredibly transformational in my life. And it's something that if that is why someone's coming to me, I use this with my private coaching clients. And my 2-month exclusive private business coaching program, these applications are not going to be open again. And you can apply. It's the highest level way to work with me by swiping up in the show notes and in the description on YouTube. And here's what I say about this. There are several key ways to work with me. All of them will get you to your destination. Okay. All of them will have you bringing in more money, offer stacking, setting things up so it works with your life and your lifestyle while meeting your goals. So you're not depleting yourself or abandoning yourself or sacrificing yourself in order to make the money you want to make, because then you won't be able to have the energy or the joy to be able to enjoy your life. All of my stuff gets you there. It's a matter of which route you want to take. So you want to take the direct flight. That is my 2-month exclusive private business coaching program. I only take 4 people at a time, and that is not always available. So if you fucked around long enough and you're like, nope, I'm going to invest in the best. I'm going for it. I need the accountability. I need you to see the holes I can't see. I need the gaps filled. We can't fuck around. Bing, bang, boom, let's go. That's your move. If you are not in that spot, please don't apply as a look-see-loo. Okay. We can usually tell by the applications, and it's not really fair to the other people. My other offers of my Posse membership, my business and money coaching membership, and I'll share on that a little bit later in the episode. That is like you taking maybe a 2 or 3 stop flight to get somewhere. So 2 or 3 stops, you'll still get you get to the destination, but you've got to do more of the work on your own in order to get there, and therefore the price point is insanely low. In fact, it's too low to the point where I really should be raising it. And if you want to be grandfathered in on that, I would join that now. I might as well tell you the link so I don't gatekeep from you. ProjectMeWithTiffany.com/ProjectMe Posse. And what I'm doing this week live in the Posse with weekly live trainings is I am going to be doing a brand overhaul live training experience where you're doing the exercises in real time. Y'all don't need more fucking information. You can go get information nonstop. Same with my ass. And we get to the body because you guys have asked, sis, what did you do with your body? Like you are looking snatched and your skin is looking even more glowy. I'm gonna tell you, okay? That's a separate episode just on the whole body thing, including the exterior, meaning the skin as well. I'm laying it out, but I needed to make sure it was planned out properly. And what was my point? Where was I going with this? Fuck me sideways. I know I had a really good point here. I hate when that happens. And no, I actually don't have ADHD, just so you know, my ADHDers. That's why I understand you and know how to coach you well. I have complex PTSD, which mimics almost identical to the same behaviors as ADHD, except the root is coming from a different place. Now, you can have both. I don't believe I do, or maybe I just don't want to admit that I do. Where was I going with that point? It was so fucking good. I have no idea. We're going to move on with the story. Okay. I'm going to take a sip, a ceremonial sip. If you're watching on YouTube, what's up? Comment, subscribe, let me know you're here. My money matcha matches my outfit. I'm delighted by it. And I purposely chose a purple straw because hashtag on brand, taking the sip now. And I made my own. Okay. Honey doesn't cook. I don't fold unless it's money. But when I do make something, it's made with a lot of love because I really don't like having to put forth that effort. Why are we having the brand come first? I want you to look at this. Your brand is the hub of a wheel that your body, your brain, your business, your bank account, your being all stem off from. And if that is not intentionally designed, if that isn't curated, if that isn't felt into, if that isn't, if there's not attention being put on that, if it is not being built with some form of focus, well, that wheel isn't going to roll. Okay. It's not going to go well. You're going to have like a Fred Flintstone situation. And if you don't know who Fred Flintstone is, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. I have references that are from the 90s. And if you don't like it, I don't know what to do with you. So the brand, when you hear that a lot, you might think, oh, well, Tiffany's talking about what are my brand colors and what are my pillars and all that crap. I'm not talking about that. Now, I'm not saying that isn't an avenue when we start talking about your business, and we will get there. Remember, I am doing 6 different parts to this. We don't need to overwhelm your system. So I only want you focusing on whatever part we're talking about right now. That's what you're giving the focus on for this next at least 48 hours. And then the next part will drop this. And if you need more time, that's also okay. You don't have to listen to the second part. So when the hub is unclear, right, your brand is unclear, everything feels unstable. You don't feel connected to yourself. You're kind of trapped between like 2 identities. You feel really fuzzy. You don't have clarity. But when the hub is intentional, and you have a clear visual, you don't have to have every detail worked out, but you have that knowing. It's amazing. Your motivation comes back, your energy comes back, you have focus that comes back, excitement comes back, and it comes back naturally. Identity always happens before behavior. It's difficult to behave your way to a new identity, although you can. I've done it, but that's difficult because getting people to take action is no joke. And I'm not saying any of this to shame you. I know you know this for is that most people don't take action. That's why they do intentions or goals for the new year. And I think the date, it's either January 11th or January 21st where people completely fall off track. It's like 95%. And that's why what I teach is unconventional and it's for my fellow crazies, where it's actually shit that I know works because it works not just on me, but with thousands and thousands of people I've coached. Okay, this is going to make you ADHDers feel very seen and make you go, oh my God, I can be a multi-billionaire and batshit too. I just remembered my point from earlier, and now I have to say it or it's going to bug me the entire time. My point of sharing about you don't need more information. It's like I can go and watch YouTube videos of workouts and pin healthy recipes on Pinterest. That is not what has snatched me up and made me lose 35 pounds. Okay. That did not work. Information alone is not enough. We need accountability and we need to know how to implement the information in a way that feels doable and achievable on repeat for ourselves. And every person is different. So if it's not a one size fits all approach, you've got to massage things so that it fits what works for you. I could give every single one of you the same. Well, let's say I give all the men a black like pantsuit, and I give all the women, a black dress. I could line you all up. It's all the same if you think of like bridesmaids, right? Or groomsmen. But each of you would put your own flair to it. Each of you has a different energy. Each of you would do different accessories, hairstyles, shapes, sizes. You would wear it differently. That is really the essence of your brand is when someone says to you, oh my God, that's so Tiffany. Oh my God, that's so Rachel. Oh my God, that is so Jim. So something I say all the time with my clients, which is so fun. I love my private coaching clients. I love all of you, but it's extra special when working with people so intimately. And you get direct access to my cell phone. Like, honey, don't play games. I only coach 4 of you wild asses at a time. And I will say often, oh, that is so on brand for you. Or I'll ask, but is that really on brand for you? So that's the first thing here. We're going to start prompting you so that you can start building this brand because isn't that exciting? You get to reinvent yourself at any given time, any fucking time you want. That's in your control. And it doesn't mean you have to like dye your hair a different color or get a bunch of tattoos, right? That doesn't mean you have to do that. Sometimes and oftentimes the most drastic branding changes are done from within. It's stuff that people can't visually see, but we're just so conditioned to believe like branding is visual, and that is an element of it. But what I'm wearing right now that you can see me on YouTube if you're watching on there, even though I'm not wearing purple, one of my other brand colors that we implemented a few years in is this like really bright, like a neon green. And I have a money hat on, it has a patch on it from actually one of my longtime listeners, shout out, who she like dresses Paris Hilton and all these famous people now. And it's a really fun hat. It says, everyone wants to be us. And I'm sitting in the background is the ocean that I live on. It's very me. My mic flag says ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. My nails are even green sparkles. There's a purple chair in the background. My straw is purple. I have my money matcha. These are all things that are visually on brand. And for some of you, it might be easier to start with the visual before we go into the internal. So what is something about you where people will say, oh, that is so Claire, that is so Monica, that is so Mark, that is so Taylor? Like what What are those things? And you like it. It's not like, oh, I hate that I'm known for this, or that shit goes back 30 years. I hate it. What is stuff that you love being known for on a visual level where someone's in a store and they will take a picture of a top or of a coffee mug or something where they know that is just so you and they found the perfect thing for you. And this can go along with I want you to use music. What's the type of music you're curating this for 2026? What's the type of music, the theme music that's playing in the background of your documentary, of your 2026 documentary? What is your entry song, which is a really cool trend on TikTok? What is that entry song? What is that vibe of you walking in? Who is this person? What do you look like? And you can say, like, I look like I don't want to be in the body that I'm currently in. Okay, then you don't have to be. But you have to behave your way into that body, meaning you need to think as though you are that person. Okay, so identity comes before the behavior, like we were talking about. So you need to go, I am the type of person that I am snatched. Okay. I am the type of person who wears bold colors and tons of accessories. Maybe you're someone that's always dressed conservatively, or you feel like, oh, I shouldn't dress like this because no one over 35 dresses like this, but you want to. Yeah, well, you fucking dress like this. Or maybe you felt some type of way about dressing in certain things because you're fluffier than you want to be. I know I had that. And I got to a point where I went, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I'm going to be fluffy, but I'm going to be free. Okay. Like, if you're not happy with your body, at least allow yourself to be free when you are developing this new identity, when you're stepping into it. And it's going to feel a little awkward at first. Some things will feel like such a great fit, and other things will feel awkward. You feel like everyone is staring at you. And a lot of this ties right into your business. Maybe you're not feeling the topics you're covering. Maybe you don't love the aesthetic of your Instagram or even your sales pages. Maybe the color just doesn't speak to you. And really, a personal brand and business is about your ideal client first. So what we're focusing on for this episode is what's about you first. So I don't want you doing a brand overhaul or anything like that until we get into that portion inside of this transformational protocol that we're doing here. But it does start with you in the sense of you are the founder, you are the creator, and people more than ever want to connect with people. Sales is about trust. Like I teach with my emotional based sales technique, sales psychology. People want to buy from someone that they're magnetized by, that they feel is living in their truth, that it's someone who they aspire to be. Who is that version of you? Because that is going to show up. That is going to color everything you do in your life, whether it's charity work, whether you do a podcast, whether you're on Substack, whether you send emails, whether you have just interactions with your kids, you're speaking, you write a book. It involves everything. So think of someone that you know or admire. Perhaps you can use me as an example if that works for you, where it's like, how would you describe Tiffany to someone else? If you're sharing the show, you're sharing the special 2026 Glow Up series. And it's like, oh, you've got to listen. You've got to listen to this chick. This is what she's all about. This is her vibe, right? And if you won't like her, certain people won't vibe me, right? Maybe they're not ready for me, and that's okay. So I think for you to get to who you are, some of you have to look at who you no longer want to be. I no longer want to be the person that just like schlubs together an outfit, and that doesn't feel good to me. I no longer want to be someone who hides in the corners and hides in the background and plays it safe and plays it smaller, plays it too conservative and doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. I no longer identify with the person who isn't clear and direct about what she stands for and what she doesn't stand for. this is who I am now. I'm not going to be like the backup dancer in my fucking life story. I'm just trying to give you some prompts to look forward to, for you to be able to go, no, this is who I want to be operating and be the lead character in my 2026 documentary. Who are you being asked to become this year? And how you get to who you're being asked to become. What was very telling is what happened in 2025, maybe for some of you also 2024, like me. It's what was no longer working, what was no longer connecting. I felt so uncomfortable in my body in 2024. I didn't feel at home in my body. I felt like I was in a foreign body. That was the most uncomfortable part. I mean, yes, I was uncomfortable inflammation wise and a little bit ego wise and all of that. But really, it was that I didn't feel like me. What I truly believe is that 2026, the year of the horse, a 1 year, we are being called back to our true home, our true North Star that has been given to us by Spirit, by God all along. But we got influenced along the way. We got influenced by our parents. We got influenced by the corporations we worked for. We got influenced by society. We got influenced by our demographics, where we lived, by mass media, marketing, government. And we got influenced, and our true self, our true essence got buried, and we became a false self version. Not saying you're fake, but it's a false self. It's not really you. And that's also why it feels so heavy and exhausting. And then the imposter syndrome comes up, and maybe you isolate, and then you attract people that are shit because you're attracting people based on your false self, not on your true self. And I deeply believe that those of us who are awake, those of us who are empaths, who are trauma informed, who are healers, who are spiritual, who want to do great things in the world, who have special gifts and talents, and you want to help people and make a shit ton of money doing it, we're being called forward, not even to upgrade our identity, it's to return to our true essence, our true selves. So, what version of you feels expired? What can you no longer do? What can you no longer tolerate? What would change if you stopped waiting for permission to do something different? If you knew nothing bad would happen, you would be completely safe and secure. How would that, when you're thinking of a documentary and the person playing your role in the documentary, and it can be you or you can pick an actor, the person playing you, your true self, what is this person? What vibe do they get off? What is their look? What are they into? What music is playing? Who is this person all about? And I want you to use that inner guide that you have, because this isn't you crafting this from your ass. From your ass. This is you actually tapping in deeper into your own wisdom that has been there this whole time, but you have to learn how to tap into it. And we've had lots of layers and busyness and bullshit that covers it up. You've been called home. You have had this planted in you, who you were meant to be from before you even came out of the womb. Okay. All of us. But it gets so tarnished and tousled around and battered and bruised and flips upside down. And it can feel really vulnerable showing back up in the world and showing up in our business and showing up in society and in public and in friendship groups and to even our partners and our families. Quite frankly, that's probably the hardest part for people, as our true self, because if our true self gets rejected or made fun of or abandoned or not liked or criticized, whatever, you're really hurting us at core. But you know what? You being in anything other than that, you staying in your false self, that is hurting you and delaying everything that you want in your life. It wasn't until I started fully intentionally operating out of my true self that I started stacking millions of dollars and doing stuff that genuinely helps people and stuff that I love doing. Now, I don't love doing everything every day. That's not realistic. But what's on brand for me is that I am realistic. I'm not an optimist, and that's okay. I used to want to be. I used to want to be an extrovert and an optimist, and I hated that I wasn't. And I wanted to be someone who was like Energizer Bunny type energy. It's not who I am at core. It is not who Source designed me to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can't have everybody be the fucking same. A, it's boring. And B, it wouldn't work. Literally, think about it. It couldn't work. Why do you think there's so many different species of animals, of flowers, of bugs, of birds? We have to have this, of fish, because it's an ecosystem. We're all meant to be different. What happens is, and the problem is that when you operate out of your false self of who you think you should be, or being in that because that feels safer than being your real self, because if I act this way, then people won't reject me and they won't abandon me and I'll be more likable. And I did all that shit. Okay, I'm very open about that, which is also on brand about me. What is this brand about? I will always fucking tell you straight up. You might not like what I have to say. I'm always going to say it with love and care and respect. You might not always like it because the truth stings, but I would rather you be a little mad at me, even triggered by some things that I say, even stuff that you've paid for with me. That's okay, because ultimately it's what you need to hear in order for you to evolve, in order for you to meet the goals in your income and in your life. And anything else would be enabling you and would be a shim sham sharam and doing you a disservice. And I refuse to do that. And there's so many people that do that fantasy marketing, and your ass has fallen for it. I've fallen for it many times too. That's your false self that's fallen for it. Your true self is more discerning. When you operate in your true self, I'm not going to say you never get taken advantage of, because there's highly sophisticated people out there, okay? Like that's just part of life, okay? It's not going to not happen. But when you're really operating in your true self, you attract other people who operate in their true selves, both romantically, friendship-wise, people who work for you. If you sometimes are in your true self and a lot of times in your false self, or you flip flop around, you're going to end up having a mixed bag. And when you really sit back listening to what I just said here, you'll go, oh my God, that is so true. What's on brand for you could have a lot of similarities to what's on brand for me. What do I always say on here? Like attracts like. If you are not standing in your true essence, you're going to attract a bunch of junk and people that don't connect, and they never really benefit that much from your content, and they don't fucking buy. They don't become a true community. Think of all these different communities. Think of churches and these things that people stand for and don't stand for, and the culture of it all. That is what you're building in essence, but you have to start. That's why my programs that I have and my ProjectME Posse business and money coaching membership is so special. It is, I would call it the land of the misfit toys. These are the black cats, the black sheep, the multi-passionate, the intuitives, the wackadoodly doos. And yet you also are highly ambitious. You want to make a lot of money. You want to help a lot of people sharing your gifts with the world, but you also want to be understood, and you need help with someone managing the chaos of your mind and getting you out of yourself in order for you to remain in action and be consistent and accountable and not keep taking your foot on and off the gas. But would I have been able to attract a membership that generates $500,000 a year and built it to that level with thousands and thousands of incredible testimonials around it? Would I have been able to have built that out of my false self? No, because there'd be people in there attracted to me and my community that isn't a full version of me. It's somewhere in between. It's messy energy. When this year is over, what do you want to be known for in your own life? And it doesn't even have to be when the year is over. What do you want to be known for? I want to be known for, Tiffany tells it straight up. She focuses on getting you into action, income generating activities, joy generating generating activities. Period. End of story. She tells you straight up. She's vulnerable as fuck. And she does it in an entertaining way. And there's people who don't like the fact that I swear and that I talk about God. That's okay. I'm okay with not being for everyone. And that's something you have to be okay with. You're not going to be for everyone, and nor should you be. You might be an acquired taste, and that's also all right. I can't stand stuff that's basic conversations, basic advice, basic motivational talk. I don't like it. I've done way too much therapy. I've done way too much healing work, trauma work that it doesn't scratch an itch for me. It's just too vanilla for me. All right? Like it's not going to work. But obviously a lot of people love basic, simple vanilla because there's a lot of people out there who have podcasts and who have brands that are so fucking basic, sharing quotes that I've heard a million times for decades that do really well. And that's okay. I'm for people who move at a different frequency and a different level. Who are you for? Who are you for and who are you not for? Who is that version of you? And then I want you to now move to the part of the brand that encompasses both the external and the internal. And you can start whichever way, right? Some of you, it's easier for you to start with external in terms of the visual of what you'd wear, what's your song, what's your vibe, right? How do you sound? What do how do you talk? What are the things you stand for? What are the things you don't stand for? Because if you don't put a stake in the ground of what you stand for and what you don't, guess what? You're wishy-washy. You stand for fucking nothing. And why would someone trust you with their money and their time and their energy if it is not clear of what you stand for and what you don't? And I don't mean you have to share, I need to share my exact stance on politics and everything happening in the world. That's not what I mean. It needs to be where someone else can verbalize, hey, this is what he's all about. This is her vibe. This is what she is all about. What would you love to know that people are saying about you if someone sent you a text on accident? And I've had this happen before. God, I feel like I'm sure I did screenshot it because it's only happened, I think, twice in my life that I can recall, where someone has sent a text. It was actually a client of mine. And it was meant for someone else in their life saying, you need to go listen to, this is my coach who I've been working with. This is her podcast. This is what she's all about. And that's how I knew it was a client of mine and also their number. So then they said in there what I'm all about, right? And it was written in just such a raw way because whoever they're sending it to is some, probably a friend or a family member. And it's like she's incredibly funny, which of course I love when people think I'm funny. I'm like, I don't know if I'm funny, but I laugh at my own shit because I feel like most people who've been through a lot of trauma are quite funny. Like some of the best comedians in the world are major trauma survivors because if you don't use humor, like I wouldn't have made it. All right. Humor, medication, and lots of therapy and healing work. Thank you so much. And saying, what else was said in that? God, I wish I had pulled that up, but it just came to me. She gives it to you straight, high integrity, and has a way of holding you accountable that actually works without you feeling like pressure or forced about it, right? Like it was something like that. And I instantly went, yeah, that is fucking me. And not like, yeah, that's me. I'm high and mighty. It was like, that's fucking cool. Abso-fucking-lutely, that's me. So what would you like? It'd be interesting exercise for you to actually start in your phone, like you're texting someone about you. What would you love that text to say in a nutshell? Because this is what people do behind the scenes, whether you have a business or not. When they're talking about someone and you do the same fucking thing. What have you said about me or other people? Like I was trying to explain Mel Robbins to someone in Palm Springs, which is so funny to me because, of course, I think like, how doesn't everyone know who she is? Well, I mean, just this is just how it is. Like, not everyone. I mean, unless you're probably like a Kardashian, not everyone knows who someone is. And I was explaining her, and I said she's very real. She's straight up. I can vouch for her. I have met her. She's batshit, and I mean it in a kind way. Like overthinker, overanalyzer, ADHD. Like that is true. Okay. Like I not only have I met her, I was able to observe her, and I'm highly observant. In fact, I'm hypervigilant. Another benefit of being a trauma survivor for, I would say it was like 2.5 hours. And it was a very high ticket, semi private type event that I was at. And all the stuff she says she is true. Right. And so she is all of those things and relatable, is open. And I would say now, like her brand, she is more of a generalist, but speaks a lot about the brain and the way we operate and, motivation and productivity. Okay. And what's her visual branding? Using her as an example, those fucking black glasses. It's her by those black glasses, and she's not wearing some frilly, flowery dress. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just not her style. Bish is always wearing pants, and she's always wearing sneakers. I bet no one's seen her toes in years. Same hairstyle, same very minimal makeup. She doesn't have some glam team around her, and that's it. Straight up. That's who she is. And you can tell that's really fitting for her, and it works and it's magnetizing. You don't have to be dressed in like head to toe fucking Prada and have all of this money and be some fucking glamour queen, someone who could be on a runway for you to have a magnetic brand. You don't need to have that. In fact, when you really look at it, look at talk show hosts, like TV talk show hosts, even from back in the day. Look at some of our biggest thought leaders. Most of them are not beauty queens. Almost all of them, in fact, resemble what like an average type person would look like because it makes them relatable. And something interesting to note here, and I'm speaking to your ego because I know you have to be careful because some of this, we've been so programmed, especially women. Men have been programmed too, but you guys get programmed more about like money and muscles and shit like that. Women really get it about weight, and you've got to be pretty, and you've got to be young, and it's impossible, right? It's like the standard is not reachable unless you have a shit ton of surgery, okay? And your ego will come in and say, oh, well, I want to be this particular size, and I want to have this look, and I want to have this thing. And I just want you to check when you're doing the external stuff, even the internal stuff of intentionally designing your brand, your documentary for 2026. Check in, just pause for a moment, even, put your hands on your body, your hand over your chest, your heart, the other hand on your stomach. Maybe you need to put it on your head, ground yourself in and just go, okay, is this coming from ego? Or is this coming from my true self? Where is this coming from? And then if you're like, I still don't know, does this feel heavy to me or does this feel light to me? Do I feel lighter knowing that this is my documentary for 2026? Or is there heaviness? Is there some resistance? Is there a little bit of nervous system spiking going on? Or does this make you exhale and go, that would be nice. That would be nice. I like this because I have created what I thought was, my identity, where there was a lot of ego still in there from programming that was so woven in many layers that I didn't see it. Okay. So I just want you to make sure you take a look at that. Your glow up does not start with you doing more. It starts with you deciding who you are. Period. End of story. I am the type of person who blank. I am the type of person who follows through on my promises. What I say I'm going to do, I do it. My actions and words always match. And if for some reason I can't follow through at a certain time, of whatever I've promised because I got sick or I got overloaded, I will say, I will still follow through. It just might be at a different time. And I'll say that. I'm the type of person who will always fucking tell you the truth. Don't come to me if you don't want the truth. Don't come to me if you do not want me to point out the true holes in your business. I will do it with love. I'll do it with finesse. I'll do it with gentleness, love, and respect. But I will point it out. And there are people who come to me when you guys apply for my 2-month private business coaching program. Those applications are inside the show notes in the description here on YouTube. It's the only way to get the application. Last time it's going to be open. I only take 4 at a time. And like I said, this is the direct route, highest level way to work with me. So please don't apply unless you're like ready to fly. Okay. Like you're like, it's time to fly. Like enough's enough already. And look at that. Is that part of your core identity in 2026? I'm the type of person who takes calculated risks. I know I was saying earlier, and I'm a little machadized, so I can be all over the place sometimes, or I think I'm all over the place, and maybe I'm making perfect sense because you guys are whacking the mind and you kind of like a little bit of like, what is it called? Pinball? Do people play pinball still, like a pinball machine? That's how I picture the inside of your brain. It's like you have 72 tabs open and you kind of like it when you're flipped between a few different tabs at the same time. It scratches some kind of an itch for you, which is why you don't mind when I bounce around. I mind because I want to make sure I'm being clear and helpful. And that's my own shit because then I know I repeat myself and, such is life. See, and then I lose my fucking point. God damn it. I hate when I fucking do that. I feel like I need a sip of matcha. Hold, please. When you have a drink, I don't care if it's like a poppy soda. I don't care if it's a crispy electrolyte water, a matcha and iced coffee, a tea, and it just hits right, that feeling in your body. God, I love that. And that is how I want my content to feel to you guys, where it just hits. It's like, yeah, I get it. I've heard some of this, stuff maybe before. Not everything I share is like revolutionary, but I've not heard it shared in this way. So, what is your delivery style? How do you want people to see you? High, of course, you're like, well, yeah, I want to be high integrity. I understand we all want to be a nice, good person, high integrity. You need to go deeper than that. Okay. It's like people come to me because they know I'm going to tell them, oh, this is where I was going with it. When people apply to work with me at the highest level in the applications, my team weeds out the first layer and then I get, of course, final approval. And some of these applications it's like, if you're going to write a 1-word answer and you think that that's going to make me feel like you're serious about it's time to rise, it's time to go, I'm getting on the flight, fuck yes. That's someone trying to take half measures and get full measured results. That doesn't work. Where I was going with this, my false self was someone who was risk adverse. Even my accounting firm that I've used for quite a long time now, they have a name for me behind the scenes, which they know I joke a lot and I can hear it. They know I wouldn't be offended. But they called me, past tense, chipmunk. Like then some of them referred to me as, how is Tiffany acts like a depression baby? Because I was so risk adverse, especially for my age. It like didn't make sense. It was like I was hoarding money and not taking risk and operating as though like Armageddon was coming. What they didn't understand is that's very common to have that relationship with money when you're a trauma survivor or when you've gone through some shit. And we'll get into that when we hit this part of the glow up, when we talk about, when we talk about the bank account stuff. And I didn't want to be known as that anymore. I thought it was actually cute and I liked it for a while. It was like, well, I want to be a chipmunk. I want to store all those nuts when all you people are spending money and doing this, that, and the other. And then I went, oh my God, it's not healthy to be at either end of the spectrum. You don't want to be like just randomly fucking spending with no avail. And you also don't want to be hoarding. Hoarding is out of scarcity. Not taking risk is out of scarcity, whether you have the money or not. It's actually self-abandonment. You're not betting on yourself at all. So does this new version of you, does your brand, do you bet on yourself even if it's fucking scary? Cuz that's me. That's what I changed it into, and they don't call me that anymore. They do not call me that. You know what they call me? They call me a bot. They call me the internet boss is what they call me, which I'm very complimented by. They are fascinated by my business model and what I teach because of the profit margins are abnormally high. I'm in the top 1%, and they're the largest accounting firm in all of Southern California. And I'm in the top 1% of profit margins. They've never seen anything like it, and they're fascinated by it. And I am the type of person who takes calculated risks. I didn't go from I'm a chipmunk to I just jump off a cliff with no parachute. That's not who I fucking am at core. Okay. And that's a setup to end up slipping back into an old identity because now you'll go back to what feels safe. My nervous system, it's too far of a span. I'm the type of person who takes calculated risks and bets on myself. I'm also someone who is living in a grounded state, even though I love spirituality and manifestation and all of that stuff, timeline jumping, quantum physics, all of it. But I'm someone who is grounded and rooted, my Virgo ass. Okay. I can't help it. I have a very big tree trunk with lots of roots. And I know that I hold that safety and stability for a lot of people who don't feel as rooted. You guys feel like you have too many branches and too many directions and too many different ideas, and you don't know which to start and what to go here, and you get distracted easily, and then you start this thing and then you don't fully go for it, and then you da. But if I didn't put myself out there with my true self and intentionally brand it and intentionally make it clear, you guys wouldn't be listening. You wouldn't hire me. You wouldn't be attracted to me. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that I'm the best match for you. Do you see what I'm saying? So I want you to put this together for yourself. And this doesn't need to be like, oh, I need to find a time to have 5 hours to do this. You don't need to do this. You don't need to spend all of that time. What would change if you stopped waiting for permission to evolve? What version of yourself feels expired? Who are you being asked to become in 2026? What would delight you? You found out how someone was describing you to someone else. What do you stand for and what don't you stand for? What's your communication style? Who are you in the friend group? Who are you in the family? Are you the person people come to because you're an incredible listener? Are you someone who they come to because in your presence they feel so seen and felt and understood? Well, that is definitely part of the brand. Are you someone who follows through with what you say you're going to do? Are you someone who bets on yourself even when you're scared and goes and does the damn thing? Because there's parts of you that I know you know are not working. And the parts of you that I'm guessing aren't working is your follow through. You have the ideas, you even know some of the stuff that you need to do, and you've not set yourself up with enough level of accountability and support in order to follow through and do the damn thing. So what is this version of you? What does she or he need in order to follow through? For me, and I can judge myself all day long. I can say, God, I should be able to just do this myself. I wish I was an optimist. I wish I was an extrovert. I'm a fucking introvert that's highly socialized. I am a realist. I'm not an optimist or a pessimist. I keep the shit real. Okay. Anything other than that, I can't do it. It won't. My voice changes. Someone asks me how I am a stranger when I'm in the grocery store. I can't even lie. I don't go into a whole diatribe, but I'm not going to be like, I'm great when I feel like shit. It's just not going to happen, even though they probably don't care either which way how I am. That's just how it's wired. But I know that I am always going to go for it and bet on myself, even when I'm terrified. And what do you need to do to set yourself up so that you follow through? You know what? I don't love it. I don't love the fact that I spend a lot of money. And yeah, a lot of money is relative, but I spend a good chunk of change every month in order for me to show up and deliver to you guys, in order for me to have this lifestyle that I have, in order for me to be able to have this multi-million-dollar view, in order for me to travel when I want, how I want, in order for me to be able to not start working most days until noon, in order for me to be able to have all of this and help the people I do and help build the safe houses for women and children who've been sex trafficked, in order to do all of that, I have to show up and follow through in order to do the damn thing. And it can't just be once in a while. And I, left to my own devices, I will waste an entire day away. When I say at the top of the show, I'm a highly disorganized person and I'm not focused. Once I get in the groove of being focused, I can stay in the groove for a while. Okay. But I'm not type A. I really am type C for chill. I used to call myself lazy if you listen to episodes, right? Like a couple years back, even maybe less than that. And I've stopped saying that because I did this exercise that I'm sharing with you now is I didn't want to be the chipmunk and I don't want to be lazy. It's kind of cute to say lazy, but the truth is my fucking ass isn't lazy. Okay. I just like the path of least resistance. I'm just unavailable for unnecessarily hard work for myself or my clients. If there's an easier route, I have found it, I have tested it, and if it works, I will teach it. And if there is no other route that I have found, and I definitely have tried, I will be straight up. You're not going to like this part of it. This might feel heavy to you, but it's part of the game. And if you want what you say you want, this is just part of it. Because guess what? That's with everything in life, right? Just like you want to lose weight. Okay. When we get to the body part of the episode, bottom line is, those are my fitness girlies that listen to the show. There's a lot of you. You guys have said this, preached this for how many years? It is calories in, calories out. Period. Understood. You've got to move your fucking body. Even if you do the shot, honey, you've got to move your body. It will not work. It will or it won't stick. It won't work. Period. Right? So in business is no different. There's some shit that you can get away with. There's shit you can't, you just have to do. And then there's a whole in between, which is what we customize together in my private business coaching program. So you know where to go to access all of that by swiping up in the show notes, in the description here on YouTube. This week in the live posse training inside my money and business coaching membership, it's the only group coaching style membership that exists of this kind. And it's weekly live trainings with me and other special guest experts. And this week we are doing personal branding, but having it infused in with your business and making money off of being you, the real you. So you want to come and be in here for the live training, I would join that posse so fast. The annual membership, I'm doing something special. And this is kind of a test to see who has listened to the end of this episode. The first 5 people who join at the annual rate, so joining annually, you get 2 months for free. Plus you get like my Nail Your Niche Masterclass as well. I'm going to give you Coach TIFF AI. Like it's me and AI. It's been programmed for now 3 years. It costs me a ton of money to have this built. And it's you talking to me. And I'm talking like just how I talk. You will be shook. People who did selling at scale, who paid in full, they were the only people so far who have gotten Coach TIFF AI, and people are obsessed. And it is designed, I would say conservatively, it'll save you 50% of the time on everything. Emails, content, captions, sales pages, all of it. So there's that, but also you're getting that actual coaching. So the first 5 of you will get that for free for doing the annual, because I want to support you in you going, you know what? I'm betting on myself. I'm going to show up until it works. And that's doing a year. I'm not going to sit there and buy into some bullshit that my ego tells me of, oh, I just need to do this course for 20 days on how to go viral and that's going to work. Like that's the old you, and you know that's a bunch of shit and you wish it was that easy, but it's fucking, that's a shim sham and you're not going to do it anymore. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/Project Me Posse. You can do the month-to-month option as well. And if you want to switch over to the annual, that is also an option. You can, if you're an existing member, you can email us and switch over to the annual option. I'm excited to hear the design that you've created for yourself. If we do not do this hub of the wheel of who you want to be, you will continue to get the result of who you were, period. And there's no way around it. And your ego is going to be clever and manipulative and try to have you believe that you're going to be able to get away with it. And you're not going to be able to. I've tried many, many times. Oh, I'm going to do this different. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to eat this. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to start my business. Then 10 fucking years went by before I started this podcast. So, you've already had a lot of time go by where you've not done the thing. How about 2026 is the year that you're doing the thing? And you're the type of person, your personal brand, you're the type of person who does the thing. You're the type of person who follows through. You're the type of person who perseveres. You're the type of person who sets yourself up so you can't slack, so you can't fall back. And if that means temporarily pulling back the arrow and investing, putting money on a credit card or getting a business loan and investing more money in order for you to show up, because if you don't, it's just not going to happen. You're going to have a repeat of last year and the year before that and the year before that. And at what point are you going to change? You've got to do things differently. You've got to set things up differently to get different results, because nothing changes, nothing changes. Even with a stubborn ass like me, nothing changed until I changed. It did not change until I went, for example, this year, and I'll wrap up with this. For this year, one of my intentional personal branding things at the hub of the wheel is I allow myself to shine. I'm not afraid to shine. In fact, that I get choked up thinking about it because I never thought of looking at it this way. I'm honored to shine. I'm honored and privileged, quite frankly, to be the light, to be the beacon of hope, to be the guide, to be the person to help my people, those people who I'm meant to help, which is divinely orchestrated. Okay. I show up and I shine in order to help the greater good, those people who I'm meant to help, so then they can show up and they can shine and they can make the money and they can do the amazing things. And then you have this beautiful domino effect because healed people heal others. And me operating, even though you guys are like, wow, but you do show up, you do all this. Nah, it's all relative. No, there was still a layer there. There was even a layer of fat of protection there, which we'll get when we go into the body episode. It is all fucking connected so much deeper than I even realized, probably because I didn't want to admit it to myself, because I was afraid to fully step into my true self, because I had so much programming in there. I was like, is that really me? Or is that like me just wanting to be that? And thankfully, I invest and I pay for people to help me discern the difference and keep me on track and keep me accountable from going and hiding again. Because saying you're going to do something and behaving that way and thinking it's going to stick out of self-will, you are fucked. It's not going to happen. There is maybe a micro percentage of people who are super, super, super type A, almost to the point where it's like a disorder, that are able to be that meticulous and are able to keep up with that. Most everybody needs a whole system of guardrails and buffers around them to keep going, to where you have enough money on the line, where you've got to show up and you've got to do the things. You don't want to waste the money. And then you work with the right people and hire the right people that you don't want to like disrespect them or disappoint them. So then that makes you show up. Almost everybody I have in my, not almost everybody I have in my life, I would be horrified to not follow through. Horrified. And not in a pressury way. It just would be wrong not to, and the cost would be far too high. And you have to determine what that is for yourself, but don't tell yourself the lie in 2026. Even make it part of your identity. I'm the type of person who puts things in place no matter how uncomfortable it is so that I can't go back to my old identity. So I can only be blank, blank, and blank. Because don't think for a second I'm not going to get tested on me showing up like this and shining. And thank you for all of you who've been DMing and emailing saying, you're glowing, you're so much lighter, like I can see it in your energy. And I really appreciate you seeing that. I feel that. I feel that, but I also had to design it this way. And we all get tested. And when we're tested, what are we going to do? Our ego wants to drag us back to our old ways because it's familiar and it reads as safe to our nervous system. Well, I've set it up to where, yeah, I could drag back maybe for a day, but I have it set up, can't go past a day. Period. End of story. Because that's how serious I am about moving forward and being the guiding light. Because I know that's why I was put here. And what an honor. And that's not egotistical. That's not narcissistic. Narcissistic? Why does that sound wrong? I don't fucking care. Zero fucks given. You know I'm speaking to you, and you know who I'm speaking to. You know that you're meant to be a guiding light for a certain type of person in a certain type of area. You know you have gifts. You might not have the most credentials. You might not have a million testimonials. You might not even have a fucking business yet. But you know you're here to serve the greater good on a bigger level. And you know that you've been using the wheel analogy. You've been the cog in the wheel. And it starts with you making sure that hub of the wheel is solid as fuck in there. Otherwise, that shit ain't gonna roll, honey. And it's time to roll. And you can roll real fast. Once you've done this, that's how you're locking in that quantum leap. You can roll what you've fucked around with for even 10 years. You can make up for all of that in months once you get it on lock. It's pretty incredible. And there's tons of evidence on my podcast from myself, from clients, from just people I've had on who have great stories. It's undeniable evidence. If it's possible for me, it's equally as possible for you, but you have to design it that way. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you so much. All the resources that were discussed, my private coaching application, my ProjectME Posse business and money coaching membership, and I also have my Walk into Wealth series and guided wealth journal. And that is my New Year's gift to you. And that is also inside of the show notes and in the description here on YouTube. Please share this with someone who really wants to do that glow up for 2026 and wants to approach it from a different way, an unconventional way, because they have an unconventional mind and perhaps they're a fellow crazy.